be using Paint Pixie products. This is a transformation called Old Betsy. And we're also going to be using a pixie dough in the mold. Pixie dough is like a marshmallow consistency molding material that you stick in their mold. You stick them in the freezer for a few minutes and you have these beautiful molds that are ready to paint and bend and just be glued down. So I love using this. It's kind of like a marshmallow. You could see how easy they are. They go into these molds, you pop them into the freezer for a few minutes, and then they pop out so easily, and the images are nice and crisp because they are kind of frozen. Now this is ready to be glued down as well as painted. Now the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to take our molds and we're going to use a color from the Magical Chalk Paint line by Paint Pixie called Sour Apple, and we're going to paint them because they are succulents. We're going to start with a green base. We're painting them first before we glue them down, just so we can get all the edges without messing up our pre-painted board, and we also have time to let it dry that we can use it later. Now we're taking our pre-painted palette board and putting down our red chalk. In this package, there's also a yellow chalk in this pack of transformations, as well as 2 smaller chalks. But we're using the big red chalk today and a burnishing stick, and we're just burnishing the image down, and you can see it becoming translucent underneath. You can check by lifting up on the film to see where it has adhered and where it hasn't, and you just start working the transformation lightly like this. It adheres to the board, and later we will seal it down to make sure that it's on there for good. But you can see how easy it is just going and working that edge to see where we're still attached and where we're not. And now that our image is all the way down, we turn it over and just burnish it further to make sure that there's no air bubbles. Now we're just taking a regular stencil here. I have no idea what the name on it is. It was just a generic stencil I had. And we're going to add some paisley bits around the outside. We're going to do a tiny bit of stenciling all around and one on the truck just to give it a little bit of accent. after the stenciling, I took some of my white paint, as well as you'll see how I took some of the darker paint, and I'm just brushing along the edges to start giving it a distressed look. I will take my brush with very, very little paint and go over these areas that are a little bit higher. And I also tried to use a wood graining tool, but it didn't work out that well. You could see that it's just rubbing some distressing on. I thought maybe it would make wood grain, but it didn't because the surface was uneven. But we're going to keep continuing around the outside and just giving it a little bit of distressing. And secondly, we're going to bring in a brown color that you'll also see me do in a second. Now that our board looks a little bit distressed, we're ready to put our painted molds back down. They had some time to dry, so we are just going to get some indoor-outdoor wood glue. This one's called Tight Bond. I like to use this. It sets pretty fast. We're going to put our molds down and start working them onto the back of our truck, and we're going to put a little bit down in the right corner, just for some interest. Now that our molds are down, we're going to give them a little bit of a blue color, a blue-green color, and also after the blue-green color, we're going to give them a little bit of white just to make it pop and look so pretty on that board. Give it a little bit of dimension. And you'll see at the end how pretty this little truck came out. I wanted to have a little bit of a girly look on it, and I think I achieved that look. As always, like and subscribe for more videos. See you again next time.